Are you having difficulties understanding the different sounds and accents in Italian? Like, where do I put the stress when I'm saying a word, especially a very long word? Or how do I decipher these little marks? Well, you are on the right video today because that is exactly what I will be explaining to you. This is a quick video on how to read those funny little marks and how to say correctly the Italian words by placing the accent on the correct syllable. I want this video to be a game changer for you and have you say correctly the Italian sounds by the end of the video. If you learn these and you understand them, your journey to a perfect Italian pronunciation will become super easy. Okay, first things first, in order to understand Italian accents, you have to first know the vowels. I do have another video on my YouTube channel. I will link it here below in the comment box. This video is actually one of the videos of my full pronunciation course. If you're interested in having more examples on pronunciation, if you're really interested in learning all the other letters and all the other sounds, then I suggest that you check that course out. You can find the link to the course directly under this video or on my website at italianlanguagehub.com. Okay, so let's look at the vowels. Let's just review them really quickly and let's read them aloud together. The vowels are A, E, I, O, U. These are the standard vowels, right, that you find in most alphabets. Say them with me. A, E, I, O, U. Now, look at these little words that will appear on the screen and let's try to say them together. Caffè, città, lunedì, più, può. I'm sure you have noticed that in all of these little words, there's a little marked accent that's on the last letter, in this case, the last vowel, because accents will be placed on the vowels. Every time you have an accent that falls on the last syllable, meaning on the last letter, because in this case it will be always on the last letter, you have to physically write that little mark on top of that little letter. Unfortunately, most words in Italian do not have a graphic accent, meaning that most of the time you will not see a little line on top of a vowel that will tell you how to say correctly that word. And that's why it can be tricky, because in Italian the accents fall on a different syllable compared to the English words. So if your mother tongue is English or you speak only English and you're learning now a new language with me, then it's normal that you might have some difficulties in saying these words and that sometimes the Italian words that come out of your mouth sound a little bit funny. It's normal. We Italians have the exact same problem when we're trying to say correctly English words. Since most Italian words do not have an accent that you can read, so meaning you will find really long words like indipendentemente, and there is no accent here, so you have no idea how to say it correctly, but 90% of Italian words have an accent that falls on the second to last syllable. So take this word, marito. Break it down into syllables. Ma-ri-to. Which one is your second to last syllable? We'll count them. Go at the end of the word, and that will be your last syllable. The one before that is your second to last. So the accent here will be on ri. You will say marito and not marito. I often hear people say marito. Please be careful. If you're not sure where the accent falls, look at the words. Look how they are and try to say, wait, Julia said that 90% of the time the accent falls on the second to last. Let's try to put it there and see how it sounds, okay? You will get the hang of it, don't worry. Now, it's very tricky, and this example fits perfectly because in English, 90% of the words have an accent that falls on the first syllable. So that's why it's very common for English speakers to want to say marito instead of marito. Let's try with another word. Read this with me. Bambino. Break it down. Bambino. Let's find the second to last syllable. Which one is it? Bambino. B. That's where your accent will be. Remember, you're not physically writing the accent, you're just stressing that syllable. Bambino. You're not going to say bambino, so the accent is not on the first syllable, but it's on the second to last, bambino. The more you listen to an Italian person speaking, the easier it will be to pick up those different sounds, okay? So don't worry if it just sounds too difficult. Usually you can really guess where the accent will fall. Keep that rule in mind, and then obviously know that there are exceptions to that rule. Otherwise, we would not be learning Italian, right? Now, let's read these words together. Scuola. Scuola. Lezione. Lezione. Macchina. Macchina. Professore. Professore. Okay, now take a little pen, write out where the accent falls. The answers will appear on the screen as I say them. Scuola. Lezione. Macchina. Professore. The longer the word is, the more options you have. So it's important to know that that first rule that I gave you is correct 90% of the time, but you do have other words. Words where you have an accent that can fall on the third to last or on the fourth to last syllable. For examples, words like pallido, tavolo, zucchero. If you break those down, you will notice that the stress will fall on the third to last syllable. Count the syllables going from the last one and coming back up towards the first one. Listen to these other words. Abitano, capitano, compramelo. In this case, you have an accent that falls on the fourth to last. So you're getting closer and closer to the beginning of the word. So 90% of the time, you have an accent that falls the second to last. The easy version is when you have a graphic accent that will mark your last letter. There are some words that change meaning whether they have a change in accent. For example, ancora and ancora. Sometimes you will physically see a little accent being placed on that little vowel because the meaning of the word can change with the change of accent. Okay? So in that case, you do have an extra exception that you have to look out for. So far, I have explained how the Italian words are usually stressed. Okay? Now, we did say that we have those silly little marks on words, and those are what we call accento grave and accento acuto. Those accents are the accents that you will find in the Italian language. Vowels a, I, u will only have one type of accent, which is accento grave. Look at these words. Città, così, più. Vowels E and O can have both. They can have accento acuto and accento grave. Vowel E has both accents, acuto and grave, and you will see both very often in the Italian language, and you will use them very often. This is not the case with the vowel O. Usually you will use the accento grave. Accento acuto with O, it's very rare, okay? So don't be frustrated on that. Let's listen to some examples of these different types of accents. Listen to these two words. Perché e. Say it with me. Perché e. Or caffè è. Caffè è. Can you hear that those two are different sounds? One of them is accento grave, the other one is accento acuto. Accento acuto is defined as an accent that is more of a closed sound, perché e, rather than accento grave, which has more of an open sound, perché è. Honestly speaking, it's not so important to get those two different sounds down correctly because as with all languages, also Italian sort of modifies and changes those little sounds, especially throughout the different regions. So you might have more open e when you go in Sicily rather than when you come to Lombardy. So I would really not stress out too much on that. But the important thing is that when you see the little accent written on that last little letter is that you actually say it, okay? So let's practice that. Look at these words and say them with me. Già, pedalò, metà, papà, bignè, colibri, oblò, quaggiù, novità, buondì, cioè, lunedì, festività. Okay, this is it for today. I hope this lesson helped you to understanding syllables and accents. Check out my pronunciation course and put a thumbs up if you like this video. Un bacio a tutti, ciao!